The Trump-Rubio fight went nuclear last night, and today, well, there were more political nuclear bombs set off. Donald Trump tweeted out several scathing tweets aimed right between Senator Marco Rubio's eyes, complete with some spelling errors. So Senator Rubio used those tweets to go after Donald Trump.
What does Donald Trump do when things go wrong? He takes to Twitter. I have them right here. Let's read some. Here's the first one. Lightweight Marco Rubio was working hard last night. This is true. He is a chalker. And once a chalker, always a choker. I guess that's what he meant to say. He spelled choker, C-H-O-K-E-R, chalker. Next tweet. Leet-weight chalker Marco Rubio looks like a little boy on stage, not presidential material. He meant to say lightweight, but he spelled it E-L-E-I-G-H-T.
Wisconsin Congressman and Marco Rubio supporter, Congressman Sean Duffy, goes on the record. Nice to see you, sir.
You too, Greta.
Well, would you agree this is not dull?
It is not dull. I got to tell you, it was a ball watching the debate last night on the edge of your seat. Who thought that Republican debates could be so exciting? It's kind of like reality TV. Here we go.
You know, I saw a different Senator Marco Rubio last night.
Well, I think Marco had to come out with his A game. And listen, if you look at this, I think that the Republican voters and why Donald Trump has done so well is they want a leader, they want a fighter, right? But they also want someone who can have the policy to fix the problems that we face in Washington. Last night, Marco came out with policy. He also came out as a fighter. Donald Trump came out as a fighter, but had no policy prescriptions. I mean, I think one of the biggest nights, well, our biggest parts of the night was when he was asked about how do you fix health care? And his answer to health care is, we got to get rid of the lines. He's been running for 8 months. He knows less about health care than a freshman congressman. Just, Greta, think of this. Donald Trump is your president. He's going to sit at the negotiating table with Harry Reid and Nancy Pelosi, and he's going to negotiate on health care reform and go, well, my deal is we got to get rid of the lines. You need more depth than that.
You know, Congressman, I don't know. You know, I can't. You know, I never get inside people's minds. But you know, you live in Walsall. I grew up in Appleton. Halfway in between is Stevens Point. I bet everybody in Stevens Point is watching tonight, and they're thinking like, we're all nuts here. I mean, they watch that punching back. But I wonder if they think this is great democracy working, or if this is just a bunch of nutty people yelling insults at each other and it's gone way off the rails.
Listen, I think this is where the debate is today. And if you want to win and you're going to wrestle with a pig, you're going to get dirty. Marco got dirty last night wrestling with Trump, but I think he came out the winner. He ate his lunch.
He said today, and I mean, look, you know, he said he thought that Donald Trump wet his pants. Or that was the suggestion.
But here's the
come on.
So no, but if it was only about Donald wetting his pants.
And Donald Trump said that Romney walked like a penguin.
Right, and we're going to talk about Donald's hair pretty soon.
No, I'm just saying. I'm equal opportunity. They're all saying.
But here's what you have to realize is, yes, we're talking about some foolish things, and Donald started it. But Marco has the policy prescriptions to fix the country. And
but you know what I think the criticism is that he, as Governor Christie says, is that he talks, but what's he done?
Well, listen, but you look at what he did as a leader of the House in Florida. I mean, they did tax reform. They did tax reform. They balanced their budget. They did education reform, and they didn't use Common Core. I mean, he's got a great record. But what has Donald Trump done in the sense of politics and prescriptions and fixing it? Greta, we have a crisis.
What he would say is that he's good at organization, he's built a business, and that he would get rid of waste and fraud and fix our infrastructure. That's what he would say.
But you have a business based on fraud. When you're going to use illegals to build Trump Tower, number one, or you're going to say, I'm going to support the American worker, but I'm going to have my ties made over in China or Mexico, you're being dishonest. But listen, this is a Republican primary, and we're concerned about a crisis in conservatism. 43% of millennials believe in socialism, and the problem is populism is not the antidote to socialism. Conservatism is, and Marco's addressing the conservative antidote.
Why didn't he win in Iowa, New Hampshire, South Carolina, Nevada, and why is he down a million, not a million, but a lot of points in Florida?
Duly noted, but you can throw those polls away. I think if you look at the Republican voters,
those aren't polls. Those are elections that are completed.
So I think,
with the exception of Florida,
the race starts last night, and I think all the polls before that, throw them out. People are going to take a new look at Marco Rubio. 30 to 40% of all Republican voters aren't making up their mind until they walk into the polls that day. They're going to take a fresh look at Marco and say, man, this guy fights. This guy understands policy. I don't want a congressman who just throws. a president who just throws out slogans. I want someone who can grow our economy, put people back to work, can defeat ISIS, and that's Marco Rubio. And again, I think when you have someone go after Donald Trump the way Marco did and come out the victor, I think it looks good for him on Super Tuesday.
Congressman, thank you. Congressman Sean Duffy from the great state of Wisconsin. Thanks, sir.